Welcome to The Unbridled Woman with your host, Deanne Rose. Dive deep into the essence of your feminine light, harness the strength that lies within, and rise beautifully into your authentic power. Now, here's Deanne.
Hello, Unbridled Women. Welcome to our sacred circle today. There is nothing more potent and powerful than a circle of women loving, nurturing, and empowering each other. I am beyond thrilled to have you join us for another circle of empowering conversations, inspirational stories, and unfiltered dialogues that celebrate the raw, the real, and the revolutionary journey of womanhood. Today, as always, we are here to uplift, inspire, and encourage you to unleash your full potential, to break through the barriers holding you back, and embrace the unbridled, unstoppable version of yourself. So whether you are driving to work right now or going for a run or just taking a moment for yourself, we are so grateful to have you with us. So get comfortable and let us open our circle today. As always, I like to begin with giving gratitude to the great creator energy that dwells within all of existence, to give thanks and offer reverence, to thank you to the waters that cleanse, thank you to the air that brings clarity, and thank you to the earth that sustains us. Thank you to the fire that sparks our hearts awake. I am calling in the blessings and the protections of the angels to surround this space with safety and love for all who are listening. And so it is. Let's begin our circle today, taking 3 deep belly breaths. So as we inhale, just filling up with the beautiful prana. And as we exhale, just slowly letting go what no longer serves us at this moment. Taking a deep breath in, just feeling your heart expand as your lungs fill up. And slowly release and exhale, feeling your body soften and getting grounded in this space. And one more deep breath in. And slow release out. All right. I am honored to introduce this wonderful woman who is my guest today. Her name is LaShawna Moxley, and to say that she's changed my life is an understatement. So LaShawna is the founder of Reveille Financial Solutions and a leader with Wealth Wave, the money milestone company, as a licensed insurance agent and financial educator for 8 years. Her experience spans years in the tech arena as a personal chef, which I'm still waiting to taste that wonderful food, and as a bridal consultant before changing careers late in life as a financial educator. She was born in New Mexico and is a military brat that grew up in Madrid, Spain, and has lived in Central Texas for over 40 years. She's passionate about teaching how money really works. She has helped thousands of families change their mindset and habits around money and making sure they understand the concepts not taught in school to make better money decisions and save for their goals and dreams. Her mission is to stamp out financial illiteracy, amen, and help families become financially independent by using these concepts and making sure they have all 7 money milestones in place, which she will talk about later on today. And she enjoys helping communities by teaching classes for families, employees at businesses, and getting the concepts taught early in high schools. So important. All right, so this first section of our journey today, we're going to talk about LaShawna's unbridled woman story. So to begin, my dear, what does the word unbridled mean to you?
Me, unbridled means independent, and confident, in control.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it means to me. It says unbridled where it's free, right? And all of those things, when you have them, to me, means you are more free. You're not relying on somebody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of empowerment in freedom.
Right.
So please tell us a little bit about your unbridled story of remembering, reclaiming, and rising.
So for years, so after my divorce and I met my new husband, we had this dream of events facility.
Mhm.
And we had it all going. We were approved. We were starting to build. And then the market crashed in 2008. We lost everything. Not by our fault, but it was just what was the sign of the times and what was happening. The wrongful foreclosures. So they took our home. They took our business.
Wow.
401k, all our money that we had put into it. So we were literally homeless because we were getting kicked out. You couldn't find a place to rent with a foreclosure on your credit, right? So credit, because credit's one of those things that everybody looks at it, society telling you how much you can get into debt.
Right.
Everybody knows their credit score, right? But no, so I actually went into hiding after that. I mean, I literally became agoraphobic, thinking that anytime I stepped out of the house, something bad was going to happen. Don't know why I went to that space. So my wonderful husband was wanting to do the grocery store. He left for work. He'd leave me here. I just hung at the ranch that we had acquired. And we actually were lucky enough to rent. So what was crazy is I wanted to learn more about money. So what had happened to us?
Right.
You know, how did the banks and everything, we were allowed to get in that position, and how the powerful they were to take it away from us, right? And I just wasn't finding anything on internet. I mean, there's tons of information on Google, but what's right, what's wrong, where do you search, right? You know, what does the industry want you to know, and what is really out there, you know, if you're not being told. So go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. So when you were being in that agoraphobic that time, you were, how did that feel for you? Like, what was?
It was horrible. I mean, I literally lost all my friends. I did, you know, it was I isolated myself, right? And just made it where it became more negative, became less wanting to talk to people. It just, you know, anxiety would set in. It really is what would happen.
It seems like, going down kind of that rabbit hole. Like once that little hole open, it gets bigger and bigger, and you keep falling and falling. And so what I'm hearing is, you know, getting curious of like, how did I end up in this situation? You're starting to empower yourself now. Like, what did it all mean? And I guess, you know, tell me if I'm wrong. What might be going through your head is like, all right, you know, I don't want this ever to happen again. You know, how can I educate myself to be more empowered with my money? Yeah. And so, go ahead. So how did you keep, you know, find that?
I started trying to figure out, how do other people do this? Because they had taken our dream away. This was our dream, our business that we wanted to build, and they had taken it away.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go back to the banks. How can I rebuild this dream? Right. But then as time went on, I mean, I started learning some things, and sometimes God just puts somebody in your path. Right?
Yeah, that happens, right?
I never left the house, but I got a call, and it was somebody that was teaching exactly what I was looking for on the internet.
Wow.
It was a God moment, because they even woke me up at 11 o'clock at night. So it's like, how much more in your path can you put them, right?
Right.
We started talking about all that, and I was like, oh, and I can work from home and teach, right? And it was like, this is awesome, because being able to go agoraphobic, now I just had to get over talking to people, right? But I didn't have to leave the house. So it was light bulbs for me on that. But then I was like, how am I going to meet more people? How am I going to get in front of people, right? To do this. So reclaiming it, I really decided I had to get out.
So what year was this? So you said you lost everything in 2008.
2008. This was 2017.
Okay. All right. So it was a while that you were kind of in
Yeah,
that hole. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, for quite a while. And I was actually doing some cooking in my husband for a couple families, personal chef stuff, and my husband delivered, but from the house.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2017, that changed my life when I decided to reclaim and get back out and try to become the person that I used to be.
Mm.
The one that everybody laughed with and wanted around, and not being negative anymore. And it so what I really did was I decided there was a movie playing at a church. It was a women's,
Okay.
and it was a movie I wanted to see. So I thought, this is good. I can go and get my my toes wet, but we're going to be watching a movie at the church. So it's
Yeah.
like,
You don't have to interact if you don't want to, right?
yeah, if I don't want to, I can just watch the movie. And something when I got inside of there clicked. And the girl that was sitting next to me, I guess, was having a bad day. And she later told me, she goes, I don't know what it was. You were supposed to be there because I was ready to go back home and I met you. And like, you were like my angel for that day. You got me
Oh.
laughing. And ever since then, I kind of took it one step at a time. That I started meeting more ladies through that and started getting more comfortable getting out. And like you said, I reclaimed everything.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
I love, I mean, I'm an empath, so getting around big crowds still is kind of hard.
Mm.
Takes you several days to get over it when you're in a crowd, all those energies, right?
Right.
But I'm getting a lot better at finding my boundaries on that.
Yeah. Wow.
Just
That takes so much courage. Takes so much courage to make that first step like you did, and how beautiful that that your first time out in a while, you ended up helping somebody by
yeah,
offering somebody else comfort. So, wow, I mean, just a testament, like, okay, now you're ready, like this is it. Now you're ready to.
it was phenomenal. I mean, and I'm I'm doing good now. I mean, I have confidence. I love what I'm doing. I love to empower women with information that I'm teaching. So it's really incredible.
Mm,
So
yeah.
so building that business here now in this different space, and you said it too. And I started late in life in this, so it's like a whole new career shift for me. And I was always good with money and numbers, things like that. I just found my home and my calling here.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, just from my own experience, we we grow and we change, and sometimes, we step into a whole new career that we probably never even thought maybe we would be in at the time. But it's what suits us now and part of our growth journey, right? And thank you for stepping into that because you have helped so many people. I am one of them. And yeah, it's so inspiring for women to know that there's, as we're talking about careers or what, it's like, yeah, it is never too late. It is never too late to follow your passion, never too late to make a change that is going to bring you satisfaction and joy and purpose. And I'm just speaking now just personally, is I'm an official empty nester myself. Like, both my daughters they're out of state now, so they're not even close anymore. And I was actually talking to a friend yesterday. She gave me like a little coaching session, more of a counseling, but and I really got clear that I haven't celebrated all those years of taking care of them and life and being a mother, and really celebrating this next step in my life, and knowing that I have this blank slate, really, and I get to write a whole new story right now, and taking life's wisdoms and, like, okay, now I've done this, that, what do I need to do now for me? And she had me tap into like like an alternate ego, I guess, or personality. And yeah, it's that. And mine is Shanti. Shanti is my truest essence. You know, she's the playful goddess that just is creative and wants to have fun and go travel and be all, you know, just be into everything and nature and you know, kind of let go of like a lot of responsibility. So Shanti has to come out and play for me. So it's never too late to really grasp onto something that, you know, you might have been shoving down. But let's return to the empowering story of your journey and into understanding money and yeah, why that's important for women to really understand this.
And the biggest thing is we've always abdicated that to our spouses. You know, if you had one, we'll say that there's someone that don't know, you know, are empowered with their money already. We tend to do that, or we've buried our head in the sand, right? Just let that advisor take over, and you know, and just leave it alone. I'm not even going to pay attention. It's just there. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, they know better. Just giving them, yeah, that's what I did. I'm like, oh, I don't have time to think about that. They'll do their best for me. But isn't that what we learned, that the only person who's going to do best for you is you?
And then the other one, the other part of that group, I should say, there's like three little groups there. Is the other women, the extra of that, I should say, is they'll do I just don't know where to start. So they just don't start, right? So I'm trying to empower these women with concepts that weren't taught in school. They're very simple concepts, right? But it opens your brain to every dollar that you have, right? And what you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you go in, and now if you understand it, you can go to that advisor and you can go, what is my money doing for me, right? You're empowering yourself with the right questions instead of just handing it over to them and just, I don't understand it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what questions to ask if you don't have any foundation to ask from.
Right. So I'm just loving the look on the women's faces when I'm talking to them, and I show them just a few things, and then I dive deeper in with what they have. And it doesn't matter. They can have nothing. And we're going to try to start somewhere, right? So it's just like a GPS. You got to have a starting point, and let's find out what your destination is. You know, what do you want that money to do for you? Because women are so attached to they need it to do something. Whether it be the legacy for their kids or for their retirement, or you know, they have that they have a plan for that money. Men, it's just like, I need that big chunk out there, right? They don't care. It's just I want this kind of income in my retirement, and they don't really plan either. They hand it over to an advisor too, but they at least, the advisors empower them. So have you ever sat with somebody that you're as a couple, and that guy is talking straight to the man, never even at the woman? I've been in those situations, and I was not going to work with that person.
No,
like,
right.
You're assuming that I make no decisions, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to empower the women so that they can get in a conversation and say, hey, you know, hey, I want that to go for my kids for their college. What do I need to get it there? You know, I want this for my retirement. I'm going to live longer, more than likely, than my spouse. So I'm going to have more money than him. But yet, we get paid less, right? We get 85 cents for every dollar. No matter how we've tried to battle that in society, it's still the same thing.
Right. So our money has to work extra hard for us.
Right. And it's not so much that we make less. There's women that are making more than men, right? But what happens? It's the amount over the years. because we're the ones that take off to take care of the kids. We're the ones that take off to take care of parents.
Yeah, you have that employment gap. Mm-hmm.
Right? So we make less in the long run because of that. Even though we might be making the same salary as a male in the same position, because we take off to handle those things. That's where the gap comes in.
And that affects even though this is probably not going to be anything in the future, but that affects the Social Security, because when you're not working, that number is lower. So yeah, that's another thing that we're not getting as much of.
Yeah. By statements, I'll be honest with you, open and honest. By statements I'm looking at between my husband's and mine, I worked just as long as he did. His is $1,000 more.
Really?
Social Security.
That's interesting.
It's really crazy. I mean, there's no sense. I know my own parents, the gap. I think my mom needed to work 3 more months to even break the $1,000.
And $1,000 a month that's a good chunk.
Yeah. Well, but it's not, you can't live off that though.
Oh, no, not, yeah, absolutely. No.
The key is so many people. I mean, we got our groups that are thinking, oh, Social Security's not going to be there. Right. But you also have all the groups that they're on that and they can't live off of just that. If they would have been taught this earlier, so that's me. I would have been taught this stuff 30 years ago. I've been a multimillionaire right now.
Yeah.
You make millions in your lifetime. You don't realize it, but you make millions in your lifetime.
I love that. And I'm going to stop you right there because that'll be a great segment after we come back from break. So we are going to take a short break right now. And we've been enjoying LaShawna's Unbridled story, her financial coming up from the embers. And when we come back, we're going to dive deeper into how money works and how you can start feathering your money nest. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening. You are so appreciated. And we'll be right back.
All clear. Great segment. Back in 2.
Okay, thank you.
Better.
Yeah, great job. Yay.
You hear my passion come out every time we talk about it.
And that's what you want to hear. Yeah. Yeah, I think I want to swing back a little bit about, because I would think it's what you said at the beginning, and I know I've heard you say this, and it's really cool, is that everybody knows, their credit score. You know, but like that, it's the credit score. It's a score that gets you into debt. You know, but no one knows, what their
PIN number.
Yeah.
Financial independence.
Financial independence number. Yeah. So yeah, when we talk. Yeah, so I'll ask, like, what's the difference? All right, or like elaborate on the credit score versus your financial independence number. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I think and if you want to talk a little bit more like the $1 million baby too, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Rule of 72.
Yeah, especially if there's like young mothers or something listening, that might be good.
See the rule of 72 and then put that in with the time gap.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start with babies, the kids.
So maybe I'll ask, okay, I'll just say something like, okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more like how money works. Can you elaborate a little bit more on, the difference between credit score and the financial independent number? And then we'll go into, and you can talk a little bit more about, the rule of 72. So it's gonna be a chat. So I'll probably share a little bit about like my debt circumstance or something and how that you helped me out.
Why don't you start with that?
Oh, okay. I can start with that. Okay.
And the debt something that can go right into. See, I told you
about 30 seconds.
Everybody knows the credit score.
Okay. All right.
20 seconds till we come back.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back to The Unbridled Woman with Deanne Rose. Have a question for Deanne or her guests? Join us on the show at 888-346-9141. That's 888-346-9141. Or email Deanne at theunbridledwomanrises@gmail.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to The Unbridled Woman. I am Deanne Rose, and I am here with the fabulous LaShawna Moxley, who has been sharing her story on her reclamation of her unbridled woman. And for our remaining time together, we are going to chat more about how women can become more sexy, wealthy, and wise. But before we get started again, I just wanted to offer another piece of gratitude to our fabulous sponsor, Native Path. I have personally been using their products for so many years now, and I am so very happy with the results, especially of their magical collagen. So please take them up on their beautiful offer for this show. And thank you for being on the journey with us. All right, so I'd like to start our second half, just a little vulnerability on my part and how LaShawna came into my life. We met at a networking event. We were in kind of the same little networking group, and her and I just became instant friends. And I think it's just her personality. Like she helped that woman. She was sitting next to the movie theater, just like being the angel there. But, and this, I think, is what happens with empaths, happens with myself. People just kind of feel really at ease with you, and they just kind of just tell you their life story. So I was sharing with LaShawna, like, since my divorce, 5 years ago, there just debt accumulated, right? And I felt like no matter how much I made and put toward that, it would never go away. And so she directed me to a wonderful company that has really helped me. And like, I was losing sleep, just waking up in sweat, and over the last year or so, I've never slept more soundly, just knowing that, I'm making my way out of a hole. And so I would just talk a little bit more, LaShawna, about how, people, their debt, their like this credit score, like, what does that actually really mean?
Well, I said it before. It's like, in society, you have to have it because they built it into the framework, right? So everything it deals with, how much you're going to pay in your car insurance, you have to keep your score up. But it's all a catch-22, right? Mm-hmm. So all a credit score really is, and everybody can, I won't say everybody, but most people can just rattle off what their credit score is, right? You can ask, say, oh yeah, this is where it's at. They're watching it, right? Mm-hmm. But really, I said before, all it is society telling you how much you can get in debt.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because it tells you how much mortgage you can get, right? It's how much house you can quote unquote afford, but you can't really afford it because you're putting it on a loan.
Right. Yeah. So it tells you all of that. So the lower your score is, what? You maybe can't get even that $200 credit card, right?
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah, for good reason. But it's because you were bad with your credit before, right? Mm-hmm. So my goal is to try to teach people to switch hands, switch pockets. So let me throw in I'm going to give you one little concept on here. Okay. I think I can paint a picture radio-wise, voice-wise.
All right. I love that.
So it's called the Rule of 72. And I had a teacher one day said, oh yeah, that's how their retirement plan, but they don't call it 72, it's 82. I said, no, talking about something totally different. So I didn't even know it. I actually talked to a multimillionaire. They didn't know this, but they had millions of dollars.
Interesting.
So helping them now with their money, because their advisor never taught them any of this stuff.
Good. But make more money now.
What the rule of 72 is, excuse me, it's a mental math shortcut on how long it's going to take your money to double.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see, easy math for me is if you put your money, well, I'll ask you, Deanne, what are you getting into your savings account?
Oh, well, before you taught me another way to put my, oh, I don't even know if it was a percentage. It was like point something, I think.
So most of them is like 0.01%.
Yeah.
That's the savings account. Yet there's $18 trillion in savings accounts because middle America thinks it's safe and they can get to it. But that 0.01 with the rule of 72, you divide that into 72. That means it's going to take 7,200 years for $1 to turn into $2.
Yeah, that's insane. You're not going to live that long.
Yeah. Do you think the banks know this rule?
Of course.
Because what do? You go back to that credit score. What do? They send you in the other door and they tell you, here's a credit card, 29%, right? So now your money's going to double against you every 2.6 years.
Right. That's crazy. Like, I mean, you point that out and it's obvious. Like, duh, like why would I keep my money in a savings and have this credit with such a low rate and then have this credit card with such a high rate? Like, you'd think we'd start to question like something's not right there, right?
No, but like I said, it's the banks and the industry want to keep you stuck.
Mm-hmm.
What you got the lower end of the scale in our population, right? We try to help them. I'll say there might be some mental issues and stuff like that we just can't help them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the top 8%. What do? They go talk to somebody about their money. But with the middle class, what have we been told? Shh. You don't talk about it, right? You don't talk about how much you make. You don't talk about how much you save. You don't talk about the strategies you're using. You don't talk about our debt.
Yeah, there's either there's secrecy, there could be shame around that, right? Maybe guilt, like, oh, I don't want you to feel like I make more money than you, or the shame of like I have too much debt and I don't want to talk about that. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, then we really at WealthWave, they started out helping middle class families because the top big companies, they're not going to help somebody that's got debt or only has $50 to save them. To help them through a budget, to help them through, there's 7 money milestones. Okay. And what those is the first one is the education. Start yourself on that track to education. I actually reach out, I'll tell you how in the end, I actually have a book that I can get mailed out for free.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get you started. And it's called How Money Works, Quit Being a Sucker. Do that sucker. And the sucker is the funny part because if you go to a bank, what do they have on the counters?
Yeah. The lollipops, the suckers, right? Yeah.
And what kind? They're called dum-dums, right? Those little ones. And that's at the bank. But the same company makes those candy Smarties. Why don't they put the Smarties in the basket?
And so, it's just been so in front of our face this whole time. Now that you actually can take that meta view, it's like, oh my God, they've been insulting us.
So let's have those money milestones. You got education, you got, get proper protection. These milestones are what the uber wealthy have had in place for years.
Mm.
Okay. And this is what we found out. It doesn't matter if you have $10 or you have $10 million. You need to have these milestones in place. Okay. It may take you a while to get them done. It's not going to happen overnight, right? But as long as you learn and you try to get them in place. So the second one is proper protection. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's your life insurance, right? So you're putting the risk on the life insurance. And where other place could you take $100 and something happens to you and turn it into $500,000 for your family?
Yeah, that's an amazing vehicle,
right? Mm-hmm. To make sure your family's taken care of. And believe me, that stuff, it goes around with IRS codes too for your money. I know Deanne knows about those. It's not for every family, so I won't go get into that too much. But there are some amazing things out there. the strategies predate the 401k. So 401k is actually a tax code. It's not a retirement vehicle. It's a tax code.
Mm.
Wealthy use different tax codes. So there's tax code for the informed and there's a tax code for the uninformed. Right?
Yeah.
So then that third one is, let's just go through these real quick. So just for time, get that emergency fund, build that. A lot of people during COVID found out, oh, I didn't have one. And the government got money out to them as fast as they could, right? Because they weren't going to last through COVID. But then debt management. Again, as we were talking about that, get the debt in check. You learn to switch those pockets, saving your money at a higher interest rate and paying cash for things.
Yeah.
And not splurge by, right? What do you call it? Spontaneous. Ooh, I got to have it, right? You know those needs and wants. What's the difference?
Yeah. Use discernment.
Right. Because nobody's going to save for you. Your younger self is the only person that is going to protect and save your older self. So starting young is the best thing. Like this, check your cash flow. If you don't have enough, then to meet your goals and dreams, then maybe you need to work a little harder and do something on the side or find out what your passion is and see how you can learn to make money with it, right? And then finding out how you can build that wealth without losses in the market all the time, right? That's like being in the lottery. Now that I know some of the concepts that
Yeah. It's like rolling the dice.
Right. So, and that's with indexing. Indexing strategies, you don't lose in the market. And then let's protect that wealth, wills and trusts. And, there's a good story of Aretha Franklin was one. She didn't have a will when she died. Prince didn't have one either.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so that probate for those multi-million estates went years, right? That wealth wasn't protected. So attorneys ate it up, courts ate it up. It's
What
just
a waste.
crazy.
What a waste. I wanted to go back a little bit, what you said about, yes, the beauty of it is to start young, right? And, you said yourself, I had known this 30 years, right? So, just like for me, I'm in my 50s and, this is how you helped me, right? Was, I had some money saved away, not enough to retire on. In fact, I think I would have lasted 2 years probably if I on retirement with this. But you were still able to help me. It wasn't too late for me to get into something that you've put me in that is going to help pay me monthly a good amount, when I do decide to retire in, 7-10 years from now, that, took it out of that IRA and put it into something that was much more tax friendly, and it grows and protects me as well as my children, right? So there's so many, even though people, women might think, oh, it's too late for me, but there isn't. It's never too late. There's always different vehicles, and that's what you do. You educate people, and give, and it's like a hope, like, oh my God, thank you. I did not know this was available.
Right. It's because they don't want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
The industry doesn't want you to know. But these, like I said, these things, this kind of things have been around for centuries. Well, Disney actually used his to build Disneyland because the banks laughed at him.
Yeah.
So pension plans, there's still a few out there, but what happened in 1980? All the corporations switched over to 401ks. Well, if you defer your taxes on $200, right? Let's just do a scenario here. Well, I'm going to get into $1 million baby scenario too, which everybody will love. But you take $200 and you defer that and put it in your 401k. I'll ask you, Deanne, do you think taxes right now, with looking at the debt clock, are going to go up or down in the future?
Oh God, yeah, they're going to go up. Look at interest rates now too. Like, right? Yeah.
Okay. So who benefits from you taking your $200 and growing it out into a deferred tax situation? I call it tax jail. Because once
it is tax jail, yes.
You can't get it out unless you pay taxes, right? But say that $200 grows to $20,000 and you start pulling from that. Now you're going to have to pay taxes on that $20,000. Who benefits? Who's in control of your money? You or the government?
Yeah, the government. The government does. Yeah, I'd rather have paid taxes on that 200.
Right, right. And so pay the lower amount now because we don't know. Do you know the highest tax rate that's been in was back in the late 70s was 76%.
That's insane. Wow.
So that's when the 401k started. A bunch
Mm,
of guys decided, let's make this happen where we can defer our taxes and hopefully taxes will be lower when we need it later on. And they won because taxes are lower.
yeah, yeah, that worked. And there's also look at the economy now. So everything is going up. So yeah.
So it's great to have a diversified portfolio, right?
Hmm.
But let's make a plan with it. And then if better things come around, we can ask the powerful questions. So like if you have an advisor, ask him, what's my exit strategy? Right now, everything's tanking, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, ask him, ask, what is my exit strategy? Have they called you on the phone or are they hiding under their desk?
And I think also a good question from my own personal experience is how easy will it be for me to take my money out if I want?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it took months for me to get it out of there. It was
Yeah,
like, this is my money. I want it.
they treated it like it was their money, right?
Right. All the hoops and stuff to go through. It's just like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So let's go back. So now that you know the Rule 72, you know there's indexing products out there that you don't lose in the market, right? And that you can save $50 at a time. You don't have to have a big chunk of cash to be able
Hmm.
to, to start saving. Start saving now is the better. So we'll talk about somebody that's 21. Okay, we can find a place that they're getting 9% interest. They can do $113 a month till they're age 67, and they will be over $1 million at age 67 for retirement.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
but what happens in life? What happens in life? We get married, we have kids, we get the kids through college, and we don't think about ourselves. Nobody
Hmm.
ever puts themselves first. They go buy those $200 sneakers for their kids when they only last 5 months on their feet, right? Because they don't want their kids to do without. But a $40 pair of shoes is going to be okay, right? But we've gotten out of control, I think, with that. We become a society of spenders and not savers.
Yeah. Hmm.
So to teach somebody that they can take $50 for say a child, a little child, okay, the earlier you start, the better. So I told you, 21, $113. So if you took $50, okay, and gradually, and then for you, and put it for your child, okay, each month, and then maybe get grandma and grandpa instead of buying big birthday presents.
Right.
That's a gift of a future college fund, everything else. I have amazing places to put this stuff.
Hmm.
That's not tax deferred, and the government takes half of it, right? You can have grandma add to that, right? So you could take $100 a month for just say from 0 age to 18, which is about, I think it was like $29,000. Okay, is for their lifetime till they're 18,
Right.
and now by the time they're 65, they will have like $3.6 million. Never put another dime in again after age 18.
29,000 turns into 3 million.
Yeah. You're
And
probably $1 million baby.
and it could also some of those vehicles too, you can borrow from, right? To pay
you can
for
pull some of those
college
out. Yeah,
or
you pay yourself. So there's a different strategy with lawyers and trusts and everything that for the family bank strategy that people have probably heard on TikTok.
Mhm.
That takes some extra planning and attorneys getting involved and stuff. But just these products alone that we've got, they're just getting better too. They just introduced a new AI strategy where the AI is going to watch the market and what it's doing and switch things up. And so you're always going to be on the positive. It's incredible.
Wow.
So they're just making them better. All these companies are trying to help the middle class. They're all in. And I have 150 of them, A-plus companies that I get to look at. So kind of like the Amazon financial services, I get to pick what works best for that family.
Yeah, unlike, some places you go to, you just have their certain products that they can get, there's kind of limited. But yeah.
So I don't know how much time we got, but I would love to just talk one more thing on the banks because I like to get people riled up. I got to get them thinking, okay?
Yeah, we got a couple minutes before we're going to start to close down.
Okay, so the banks, so this is where I get passionate because remember the banks took everything from us. So let's give them back some. That's why I love teaching this because they don't offer these same things to us at the bank, but they use them. And it's called Tier 1 Capital. And they build, so like Chase builds their own strategies to put inside of these savings vehicles, making 9, 14, 23% on your money. But then they give us what? 0.01.
0.01. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And all these things really started about just before, 2006?
Okay.
Banks zero money in these products, these things. And when they found out about them, it took off. I know Bank of America now, last time I looked just the other day, $24 billion in these strategies that the bank has, growing with no losses in the market. And they've got it put in their own strategies that they've built.
And those, if I'm not mistaken, those are the strategies that, and I read a wonderful book and the name escapes me right now, and it told about how when the Great Depression hit, when the stock markets crashed back in there, it was the people who had their money in these different strategies are the ones that survived it. They didn't lose anything. They survived and thrived.
Right. No, that's actually called it's in this book anyway. It's called Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance. Maybe
that's what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That book will blow your mind. You can get it on Audible.
Yeah, and it's pretty short too.
Listen to it in your car.
Mm-hmm.
That one will blow your mind. So that's where they talk about Disney, Pampered Chef, use the proceeds out of theirs to start their company, JCPenney's.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of people that didn't go to banks and now we've got those strategies back and they're bigger and better than they ever were back then.
And now, I mean, I'm not a big news person. However, I do get little flips of what's going on, but there are some banks now that are closing. So now's the time to rethink about where you have your money and to get educated about it. Right.
So most people will say, okay, it's government, banks, insurance companies, right? But who bails out the government?
Yeah. The banks and then the insurance company.
The
FDIC.
FDIC.
That's right.
Federal Deposit Insurance Company.
That's right.
Really controls the money.
Hint, hint. All right, my love. What is one last pearl of wisdom? You've given us so much, and I know there's so much more. Would you just like to share? What's the first thing? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Start now. It's never too late to even start. If you haven't started, say, paying yourself first, start now. It doesn't matter what age you are.
Love it. Yep, that's so very true. And so where can people get more information and contact you? What's the best place to do that?
The easiest way to tell everybody is at the Wealth Wave Chef.
Okay, at the Wealth Wave Chef. Send you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'll hit all my websites. That'll hit everything.
Okay.
And I'm sure social media savvy. So it's just all of my platforms have the Wealth Wave Chef.
The Wealth Wave Chef. And as always,
I do have links. I have links on there where you can send me to get a free book.
Okay, yeah, and that book is amazing. It's super easy to read, and there's one about women too, right?
Yeah, we got the new one. It's called How Money Works for Women: Take Control or Lose It.
Mm-hmm.
And we did the Take Control or Lose It because it's right now in the next 20 years is the great wealth transfer right now. $30 trillion is going to be transferring from one generation to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And 2/3 of that, women are going to be control of it. So we need to learn so we can take control of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember hearing a long time ago, especially a lot of tribes in other countries, in third world countries, like when they give the money to the women in the tribe, the village thrives because like we were talking before, like they just want to do more with it, and just their minds are more capable of being, multitasking of what they can put this all towards. So it is very important for women to take ownership and to become empowered.
So let me give you one thing out of the book that it says about women and money. Women investors consistently outperform male investors after they have the education. We handle risk differently. Women can be more disciplined, and many women align their investments with their values.
Amen. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. And yeah, this has been a really powerful episode, and I hope our listeners got a lot out of this. Please remember, everyone, that I do love to hear your comments, and if you have an unbridled story that you would like us to celebrate during our circle here, please email me at theunbridledwomanrises@gmail.com. You could also put questions in there if you need to get in touch with LaShawna or want to know more. You can always email right there. If you do have a story that we celebrate during the show, I will actually give you some love and good juju, as well as my signature Jade Egg course, The Well-Pleasured Woman. So that will be your gift. So next week, celebrating that we are talking to a true healer and a renowned chef, Amanda Love, and we will be exploring the topic of healthy womb, healthy woman. And I like to close this circle with a blessing today. Remember, your voice matters. Your story is valued, and never stop being unapologetically yourself. Thank you, LaShawna, for being here with me today. And everyone, have an unbridled week, and we will connect again next week. Take care.
All clear. Great job today, everyone. Fantastic show.
Thank you.
Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.